If so, the way it works is that there's Veyeminu Techabkienu, is Smoila Tachas Eroshi. There's a lot of this line is used a lot in Chassidus. With my right hand I take you, I grab you, and with my left hand I hold you from falling down. Right? I hug you, and with my left hand I hold you. In other words, it's like a type of like a rapper. I hold under my left hand is under your head, and I'm giving you a hug. Chanukah, Chassidus expands a lot on this whole thing. That's why we have the menorah on the right side of the left side of the mezuzah. It's that same thing. Mm-hmm. So over there, you're going to start, as we're going to go through the Yom Tov, you see how everything is just aligned. Everything is a perfect alignment of left and right, right and left. So as we are the lowest of the consciousness, we're at the bottom. What's underneath it? Is what? Yeah, is again is kesed, right? We're finding ourselves at the highest level, right? So we can see today we're at the lowest level, but at the same time we have the deepest understanding because this stuff was not available until recently. Like the Baal Shem Tov, until the Baal Shem, there was only Yechidim knew about this stuff. Nobody knew how the system worked. There was just people were eating rock. I mean, it was a struggle. It was dark. You had a few Yechidim, the Rebbe, the Mekubal, and the rest of the Olam they were struggling. Amaratzim, or they were barely holding on to something. That was their avodah. That was just tmimus. They came, they did it with nothing in front of them, with no deeper understanding. Today, look what's available. We're all truck drivers, and we understand we're talking about this, about that, and the only thing that's holding us back from getting in there is our belief that we're right there. Right? It's we are in our way, in our own way of penetrating and getting into that. There's a lot of misapechas, right? When Adam Rishon was thrown out of the Gan Eden, there was the fire, was the sword, the shvir, the fire that's spinning around by the Gan Eden, and we can't get in. What does that mean? So everything that we say, the Torah is loy ma'ever layam. It's not something that is over the yard, and it's here. It's for us. So what does this mean? So the lot of misapechas is, as I'm understanding something, I'm chapping a concept in Getlichkeit, but yet I'm removed from it. It's still a concept in my head. It's not something that's applicable to me, right? I'm in betachen. Everybody has a min betachen, but how do we really have a min betachen? Right? The minute something is not the way it's supposed to go, we're jumping. We're panicking, right? So we don't have a min betachen because we're not allowed in. But once you get in, you start understanding what's going on. Okay, so. We are very close. Go ahead.
By you start understanding, you mean like, let's say something happens, and you feel, you not only feel, okay, so I mean it's Hashem doing, like you actually see that this is going to turn out to be a good thing. So very good, but it's a very broad question. So first of all, as there's two ways. A, I can have a minimum of it's going to be for the best, right? So that's simple. ABC. I'm jumping into it. B is to not be phased the slightest, to understand that this is for the best. C is the next level is that as it's happening, I'm understanding that this is in a very revealed way that my Creator is right. That my Creator is reaching out to me. How do I see that? Because on the regular day, as the day moves on, everything goes status quo. I'm in autopilot. I'm not paying attention to what's going on. But the minute something is not going my way, that's the bell that he's ringing, right?
It's like a boss.
He's doing it to wake you up.
He's doing it to wake you up. He's doing it for you to realize that he's here. He's doing it for you because maybe this morning he's like, you asked for something and you forgot, right? You're like, no, show me something, and then he shows you, but you forgot already. Now, Choshech again is spinning it. So what happens is that we get hit in the head so many times until we finally realize, okay, I was a victim 10 years, nobody cared. I was crying that everybody is mean to me and didn't help me. I decided to become angry at everybody, nothing changed. And then I decided I'm going to go out there and I'm going to screw everybody right back. Nobody still cares, right? So until we start understanding how this works, right? Because we are really a consciousness that is lacking light, that is lacking to see Him. Right, we're really a chomer, but at the same time we're tachlis hakavana. He created a physical. We are. Let's just say that from everything out there, we are the most authentic, real prat, real ego, real Kavana, Tachlis HaKavana, we are it. Because in the time of the Beis HaMikdash, when there was open light, they saw the fire coming down from Shemayim. It wasn't hard to see, right? We're not going to get into the question as to why they messed up if that was the case, right? We answer that. We can answer them many different. You can do it Al Pi Musar, Al Pi Chassidus, and Al Pi Chassidus only sees light, right? So obviously, the sinful, the people that caused the churban, it was that type of consciousness that couldn't relay to that oir, or it was that consciousness that had to go through the Hester Ponim program, which Hester Ponim means that we don't see Get Lachad, we don't see Elikus. We had to go back, go through that, and if not for that, we wouldn't be here, right? We little infants for Chassidus, wouldn't be here, because we would be crushed. They got it, they're standing there, and we're here. So everything is, so now that we understand that, so I can look, everything that happens to me during my day that's stopping, it's in the way of me seeing and me getting clear and seeing like what the point in it is my Creator reaching out to me. How? By Him shoving down, like sending a bolt of lightning down my way, and this light is being blocked from entering in me. How is it being blocked? Because my twisted way of thinking, I'm not able to process it, and I can't think it, so I'm blocking it, I'm resisting it. So it looks like somebody's stealing my parking spot. It looks like I can't cover my rent. It looks like my boss is robbing me, and the business deal that was supposed to go through didn't go through. So, right, all this is waking up. All this is getting me to wake me up, right?
So a quote today, if you see everything is coming in your way, it means you're in the wrong lane.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, wow, wrong way traffic. No, but I think so this Shabbos, like I was just thinking, I told my wife, imagine, I always wanted the past 10 years open a business. I'm like telling my wife, imagine we have all these contractors, I have friends that are crying literally, they have millions on the street and they cannot recoup it. Like I have such a big decision, either keep it open or close the business at all. So I'm like, you see, I used to look at it like, why Hashem? All my friends are opening businesses, why can't I open a business? And I'm like, thank you Hashem, because if I don't know what I would do now.
Right.
In COVID. No, I'm seeing now the light in what He did to me, and I'm thanking Him for it.
Sure, but that's very good. That's good, but
the key is but the light is not there.
No, but go more than that, because this can be very easily favasset, right? We can be like, okay, but at the end of the day, He opened this open. It still looks like we are in charge when you say something like this, but really what you have to get in touch with is, I didn't open a business because I'm just a different species. I'm a different being. It's not my thing. I have nothing to do. This is my connection, not this. Right? As long as you still stay that, it's good for today. It's going to make you feel good today. Tomorrow something is going to be like, yeah, but at the end of the day, he has a business and he's doing his thing and Joel's got to do, but it's always got to do. He still has a house. We start getting into doubt. Okay, so remember, Choshech is going to do its work to pull out the strings, the little bit of light that you have to pull it out. But rather, I disassociate myself from it. Once I see that my friends do have a business and now they're struggling and I'm a free man.
I'm not happy with that.
We're not talking about that. What we're talking about, use that as a stepstone, which is, this is not me, this is their avodah, this has nothing to do with me. His business, his life, that's good for him.
So that means I don't have to open a business?
No, that means like my life has to do with me, it has nothing to do, I'm not basing, my success has nothing to do with my outside, it's all internal. I didn't open, now that I see it like, okay, it was for the best, that's fine, that's the chetzonis of it. But the panimis of it is that this is not really, because that's still not going to make you happy. Because you're still going to question, okay, so now can I open my business? Can I do my thing? And now can I do it from a place of anxiety? And I'm going to do more, it's going to work out better. You're doing exactly the way it's supposed to be doing. Everything is the way it's supposed to be.
Anxiety about it, Hashem.
Good, okay.
Not at all.
Fine. And when the anxiety, so when the anxiety is going to come, so you have that ready.
That what? When the anxiety comes, okay,
you can have it. No, that this is my whatever has to happen is coming down my way. It's nothing. Nobody can mess around with my cup. This is what's coming to me. This has nothing to do. I mean, people go into deals all day long, and one guy makes it and one guy doesn't. Mit amol de chochem, gura kleiner chochem, and can be a grosser dus, but one has nothing to do with the other. One has nothing to do with the other. But we're not. Our main objective right now is to be in my moment, to be in my space. I'm not getting caught up in what's going on around me. All right. That's it. And everything that's coming, that's happening is, if I feel something, a moment of disconnect, if I feel a moment of confusion, it's ringing my bell. He is ringing my bell by getting my attention, right? So again, the guy that steals my parking spot, there's multiple things happening here. A, I can stop and I can say, wow, last year this time I would have a fit. Like, come on, really? He takes my spot, and now on top of everything, ich bin umgekackt and this also. Okay, and now I'm just sitting and I'm like, okay, I can still go out and be like, that's just being, you're not being a mensch, you're being a chayik, can you please? Okay, that's number one. Number two, it brings me mindfulness that I'm taking everything for granted, right? This stopped me in my tracks to make me realize that everything that happens throughout my day is for the purpose, is he's in control, it's happening, it's coming, I'm in control, and I'm appreciating that everything that happened is happening the way it's supposed to be happening, because now I see that things are not just coming, right? I can have aggravation over a parking spot. C, I just need to go around the block again, or D, I need to go through my aggravation right now, right? Whatever it is, but everything is happening the way it's supposed to be happening, right? Everything is in sync, exactly the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah, this what you were saying, Moshe, about the generate. I heard two things. One, that we're which rabbis we're like midgets on top of a giant.
Mm.
So even though that we're not, they were like much more seeing violence, or whatever you want to say, or learn it, or whatever it is. Even a couple generations ago, how many people were Bucky Bashas and all kinds of stuff. But nevertheless, we're like just a midget. But we're on top of the giant. We have all what they had before us actually pushed us up, so then also we can see further. Because you're on the top of that's one thing. Other thing was the lever. Get leverage. If you take a spoon, a thing, and you put it way down on the ground and go like that, so it's going way down, down. But because of that leverage, it's what do you call that? It's called a lever, right? You know what I'm talking about?
A shovel?
Yeah, like think of a shovel. It's like if you want to catapult, it has to be. It goes down and then goes. The further you go down, the more it catapults.
Momentum, yeah, it picks up from the momentum. All right, so so we're clear on that. Okay.
Yeah. The only difference between us and previous generations is the Hastapuna.
Sure. Yeah. There's Hestapunim, and it's just a different system. I mean, again, we can look at it from the Gullah's point of it, that it's dark, right? We're small and we're just verstippt and versetzt. Or we can look at it on the contrary. This is what Basi Ligani is coming to teach us, telling us v'shechanti b'soichem, it's no longer there was a Beis Hamikdash, but now it's within us. Like we are carrying that type of, the Beis Hamikdash is within our hearts. The fire that we have is the fire that was on the Mizbech.
Well, the struggle was all there. The difference is that
it was always there. It was a different type of Yitzhar. They were different. It was more real back then.
Yeah.
In a sense. Well, it's real now too.
More powerful.
It was more real because they were more aware. They saw what was happening. They were more like in a Ruach type of world, spirit. So they were able to see more. They knew the consequences, and also therefore they had more leeway also because they knew what they were doing as they were doing it, right? Shlomo Melech, he had 1,000 wives. It says not to, right? He was on a level where he was able to maneuver, right? Above Tam Vadas, right?
Yeah.
So at the same time, there is some leeway, but you're playing for real, right? Right now we're like, we have no clue. We've been walking around like this, guy daven, go this. So, we're not davening the way it's supposed to, we're not learning the way it's supposed to, but at the end of the day, it was Hester Ponim, and there had to be brought into that level of consciousness too, the lack of, into that, right? The child goes to he doesn't know when he's davening, give him a candy, he davens because of the candy, right? So, but there's still something in that it's an avoid in there too.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's on the question you asked, if that's all it is, the Hester Ponim. It can be looked at many different ways. If you look at it from a Choshech place, then we're little midgets. If you look at it from Geula way, then we are it. I mean,
yeah, the Choshech was the same amount of like that, and I said it was always I'm not I said there was any stronger Choshech today, right?
There is a very strong Choshech today.
Stronger than was Mitzrayim and the Eigel, all those kind
The
of
lunch
things.
and
Like in these days?
It's a different type of choshech. I mean, we're so robotic today. We're so asleep today that we're like machines. Listen, we're still in Mitzrayim. We're still under that spell that we don't see clearly. We went out of Mitzrayim physically. We're out of Mitzrayim.
Correct.
We're not schlepping cement bags anymore. But in our hearts and minds, we're stuck. We're in Mitzrayim. We're not seeing the bigger picture. We still think that it's about the tomorrow and it's about yesterday and it's about we are stuck and we are under the Moshe B'Kuppah, which is under the auspices of the Parei, which is not letting us see clearly. Every now and then we get a glimpse, right? When you have a moment that you feel free and you're like, all this is nothing. That's the consciousness that you're looking for, right? When it comes to Shabbos or Yom Tov, or you're having a good day, you're having a good moment, and you're just free. Like this is where we need. That's you out of Mitzrayim, okay? So that's it. I mean, what if there was a bigger choshech back then? I can't measure choshech, but I know it's pretty intense right now.
But we said higher consciousness and lower consciousness. We're also in a big choshech, and they were
Sure.
also, but they had a higher consciousness.
Right, but at the same time, the stakes were higher back then. Like, look, they had a Beis Hamikdash and they messed it up, right?
The Rebbe used all the time. We talk about the goals. He would say a double darkness. He'd say we were in a double.
Kafel mechupim.
Well, constantly we use that.
Why?
term.
Right now.
Why?
What?
Why did he say that? What's the double dark? What's the double?
Why don't you see? What do you mean? I mean, back
It's not hard to see
then,
because-
people were not busy about their homes and their cars. They had real problems. They were struggling to put food, or there was real amunah.
How many people don't even think that Hashem doesn't exist? You can go change your genders. Well, it's just things.
this
It's not a
crazy
double
stuff.
darkness.
Yes,
It's
it is,
like
yeah.
just
Yeah.
totally
There's
different.
crazy stuff going on. Yeah.
But it's there because in default there's a world choshech or it's art.
In default, there's Yotzer Or Choshech. There is Choshech, of course there's Choshech. But
So it's a balance. Me to say. My question is, what's missing? It's
and this world, now see it's 90% Choshech.
so it's because art is missing, or because the choshech is overflowing.
No, it's because the way the system works. In order for me to have bechira, and in order for him to be, for Creator to be able to experience himself the way he is in this world, he has to create a physical world which looks like this. Just like this table is physical, there's a chiyus in this table too, but it's physical. So too, we are physical. How physical am I? That I am as physical as my day to day. What do I occupy my brain with every day, all day? My parnasa, my money, and my parnasa, and my money, and my wife, and my kids, and my sex, and my wife, and I get over, like this is it. So we are caught up in our chitzonius completely. So what happened is that our choshech is dominating because there is so much choshech. So choshech has a bigger platform. So the choshech comes around and it makes me think that my existence is as far as I can put my hand through. If I can't go through this, then this is it. So every day I wake up in the morning, and if I have my first thing that hits me is my stress of the day, this is my existence. So I get busy with that. I do that first before I daven. I do that first before I
Does
eat.
that come from a lack of art?
Yeah, sure. That becomes because our goof is made out of this thing. Our nefesh Bahamas is very powerful. It's very strong. Right?
I'm getting it.
So go ahead and ask again. So what's the question?
No, like the choshech that's like I'm questioning is the choshech that we're seeing is that because because the art is not here and fully, or is that on the art, like is it hiding the art? Was it?
Yeah, that's the question. So
because the world would have if it would have been more choshech than art, the world would have found, right?
So okay, so the way it works is that in order for us, like, what is Hashem? What is Creator? What is He? And we all get stuck in this question, and usually the answer is it's something that's above our pay grade. We don't know what it is. It's right. You'll hear different things, like before people fall into any type of light. It's psehecher in yunim. Weisz what this is. Okay. So question is, can Eibishter, can he come into world? Can the Creator, because he's so non-physical and less machshava tvisa beklal, we can't grasp him with our minds. He doesn't think. It's not a thing. He just created us. Kulam b'chachma siso. Our whole program starts with chachma. and it's something that he made. He created Chachma. He created like Chachma, and then we started from there, V'shtalshalis, millions of V'shtalshalis, and then boom, we are here, physically here.
Through Chachma.
From Chachma, yes. Okay. So now, what happened is that in order for us to be in this play, that is this physical world, he had to create these little chaymer, something called avanim, chaymer, physical things, my bones, my flesh, everything. What the Nachash is doing here, the Nachash did, the snake, when we ate from the Eitzadat, he twisted something and he made us believe that this is our fit, this is who we are. I am as much as how big my name is. This is how big I am, right? How much I acquire and how much I conquer by who? By this guy with this. The way he looks up at me. So everybody has to fit into that mold because this is what Nimrod is doing, right? Remember, Torah is nitzchiz. It wasn't something we're telling a story 3,000 years ago of Avraham Avinu. It's still till today. There's a Nimrod. There is illusion. There is trickery. There's all types of kishiv. Of magic that we don't call magic anymore. It's more modern times. It looks like a COVID. It looks like a beautiful car. It looks like a beautiful tank top. It looks like all types of illusions that makes us think. And Instagram flashing in my head. And this Hollywood star just got engaged. Do I really care? But if they keep shoving it down everybody's throat 7 times a day and every channel you turn, so then they make us think that this is what's important, right? And the people that see. What am I going to do, right? Even when you have an Ami, you have an article that he puts in that everybody's against, he's shoving it down your throat, right? He put in an article there from George Soros not too long ago, which was complete a violation of betrayal of us Jewish people, but he got away with it because probably somebody paid him whatever it was to put it in. And he probably got 2,500 hate mails, but he doesn't tell you because you don't know. So we think you in your mind think that it's only you that are having issues, but the rest of the world is okay with it, right? So this is what's called Nimrod, Tzayed B'Fiv. They keep robbing and stealing and sneaking into you, and they're twisting our brains, and then they penetrate the kids. And then the food that we eat is also not real food. It's all plastic, so we're eating plastic so they can get away with selling us plastic and us thinking that this is what it is, okay? So now you're asking a choshech. So what happened is we covered this.
Only healthy things.
We covered this last week, or 2 weeks ago. Is that what happened is that we created a choshech in order for the movie to be able to be played properly. They shut the lights down. They shut off the lights. So when the lights are off, I can see the movie. Okay. So what this choshech comes here is like nobody's looking at me because I'm really in the background. Really, it's them. How do I get into this game, right? Because this is also a living thing. Choshech is also a living. He has a chayes. He has a yeshes too. He also has a seichel, and he understands that nobody's looking at him. So how does he make himself significant? He puts his fingers out and he's like, "Look at me, look at me, look at me." But really, like the magician, like we said, has the right hand that he actually switches the card and he sees what the number is. And then he has the left hand that he makes you think that when he goes like this, he's like, was it a 9 of spades? Here it is, right? So, but Choshech doesn't have a right hand. Everything is left. There's nothing there. He has nothing. It's all an illusion. It's complete sheker. It's a complete lie. It's just the same lies over and over again, spinning and spinning and spinning. They keep feeding you the garbage. They keep giving you a free credit card, so I lose. That's why I buy, and then I get over this, and then hope. He holds the caveat over here. If I get this one, then I'll do this. So I get caught up, and before you know it, I'm in the spin. Now I'm drying. Now he has me. So you're gonna ask me, what does it mean he has? How does he have me? Because if I can't think light, then I'm thinking choshech. What do you mean thinking choshech? If I'm chasing my tail to pay my bills, and I need to pay the vacation, and my wife is telling me I'm a schmuck because her friend does have and I don't, and the birthday and the wedding and the bas mitzvah, and all these items are happening, so I am busy with my choshech. So mitamol, I'm busy with nothing. And it's wearing me down, it's tearing me down, it's eating me up, it's draining me.
That happens because there's a lack of R?
Because choshech is lying to us. Now, choshech
is just standing itself in front of the R.
Yes.
There is the R. There is the same number.
Of course there's R. Now, if you learn Chassidus is telling us, he's balancing it out. It's like, hold on a second. At the end of the day, there can be, if there is this much choshech, there has to be oil pushing behind it. So, what this is training us to do is we're turning on our other brain, our right brain, which is a manefesh elikiz. And my nefesh elikiz, I'm flipping it back on its head. I'm like, one second. 1 second. If I work harder, I'm not going to make more money. How do I know? Because, some people take it from their father. Tati zuk madafne, she listens. The Ruv zuk madafne, she listens. Some people need to go through this on their own. They have to go through on their own scars and their own pain, and they realize, 1 second, I've did so and so, and nothing came out of it. And then I did this, and it did work out. So what's really happening here? Right, this Chocham, you talk to the guy, he's like, look at this, the guy Mamish can't talk 2 words to him and he's so successful. How does this even make sense? Right, how does that make sense? No, you're not aggressive enough. Okay, so go be more aggressive. So now you're coming back and you have black teeth, and after 4 or 5 years you invested in a business and you come back and you're like, I don't understand, nothing is going So you open up your other side and you start realizing that, what's the message here? What does it mean, amunim betochen? So all of a sudden you start unraveling the anochi haster panim, and you're able to see now what you see. Once you uncover this, what you see is a creator.
The art behind it.
They see what. How do you see? And how does he show up now from that place? Mukan shabbat tshuva oimet ein tzaddik give me a chol lamed. Why? Because the tzaddik only sees Eibishter in his sefer. This is where he sits. He sits in koil all day. But all of us here, we are out there in the choshech. And mitamal, when you start seeing the light in that choshech, you see a physical Eibishter in a bottle of seltzer. You see an Eibishter in every deal and everything that I do, in every red light, every parking spot, and everything. You see Eibishter, like, where's Creator? He's right here, I'm communicating with him. Like, he's showing me now, yes, he's showing me now, because I'm able to feel him, to see him physically, unlike in the times of the Beis HaMikdash. Because the times of the Mikdash, all they saw was a Shepsila and the Beis HaMikdash. Right? They had what they needed. But I'm saying, like, their whole life was very, there was the least amount of color. Right? There was this, there was that, and they had their 7 wives, whatever it was, that was life. Now it's so colorful that I go to Florida and I go to a movie, wherever I go, I have no choice but to see that there is a creator, there's somebody, a higher power.
So there's not more choshech than art in this world, right?
There is more choshech.
So there is an imbalance.
100% there is an imbalance. The Olam Messiah is 90% choshech. There is Rakra. We are Ra. We are our nefesh of Bahamas is a Bahama. Okay, he wants. Okay, he wants it. Now, once I go through the process of a skafia, holding myself back, right? I have a desire that I want to just eat that piece of steak right now, okay? It's burning. It's a taiva. I have it. I want it, and it's medium rare. It's salted. I want it, okay? I say no. I know. So first there's a skafia. So what happens is a skafia is like, stop in my tracks. I'm running, stop. Just stop. Okay, now I'm stopping. Now the next is hapcha. After a while of stopping, I'm like, what do I need this for? What is this really? What is this desire? Do I want to where's this desire coming from? Where is this? So I'm going back and I can use this somewhere else. So I'm turning on my light, my oil, on that choshech. Now that's called Yisra Na'or Min HaChoshech. Why? Because now if right now this table here is a dummy. It's dead to me, it's nothing. But if all of a sudden I start realizing what's going on over here, that this table is actually has more bittul than me, because he's surrendering to being a table, okay, which is true. And I'm start backing it up until I'm able to see, like, wait a second, this is a piece of getlach. I look at a tree, and no longer is it something that I need to cut off and chop off from my backyard or in front of my house, chaz v'sholem, because it's blocking my light, nebuch, right? But rather I'm starting to see that this is a force of life. This is something.
It's beautiful. It's
ruchnis. It's Eibishter. It's my creator. It's like it's growing, right? So I'm able to see now. It's Yisra Na'or Min HaChoshech. I'm seeing my getlachkeit in everything. This is not just a piece of a dumb piece of painting. This is something that has life in it. What does it make me feel when I look at it? What does it do to me? What is that thing that I feel? And what is that thing, that person that was able to process this on there? So everything becomes a relationship with my creator. Like, it's not in my way, because how could this be in my way if it's here? It's not in my way. I need to. So everything that's happening, I'm processing. If it's here, once I see that there's oil in everything, right? Choshech is telling you, chop it off, take it off.
Right.
Oil is telling me, what is it here for? What's my issue with the issue?
Yes.
Right? Does it really have to go down or not? Right? So I'm becoming, all of a sudden, I'm not a piece of brick anymore. I'm not something that is just a chomer. right? We're more than what the eye needs. We're not as physical as we think we are. We're way more fragile.
Yes. And this, so like we're mamash ra, but the Dara Mamba was like living the same choshech.
Even more.
Was more.
There was more because they had more power. They were more. They were able to. Let's put it this way. Right now, when I say something, I say something. Back then, when they said something, they said something. Like
so, they were still in higher consciousness.
You were dealing with people. Let's just say like this: Avram Avinu was thrown into the Takif Shana. He was thrown into the fire, and he wasn't burned.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How did that happen? Well, it was a miracle, but how did it happen? Like, it happened in a physical world. How did it just like didn't happen? What? And Nimrod was watching it, like he saw it, and he was blown away by it, right?
So what's the answer?
So the answer is that he wasn't. Okay, so the way it works is like this: they were all very powerful beings. Like Nimrod was Chetzi, like God himself, right? He was able to manifest
consciousness itself.
He was able to. He said something and he made it happen. He was like doing. They were connected. He was connected to. He was a source. He was a Toyu source. Esav. There was real power. Okay. He said something and it happened. He came with 400 malachim to Yaakov. Right. The big Esav, the Rasha. Came with an army. Fear him that he came out of Mayasish. Right. He came. He was. They were playing for real. What happened was like this. Nimrod really believed. Well, I don't know if he really believed because it says he did know there's an Eivishter and he purposely spinned it, he twisted it, okay? So I don't want to get in, I'm not clear on that, but let's just go that, okay, so he had a system that he believed in that worked for him, that was his reality. Like Pare, when Moshe came to him, is like, Hashem, Yudke Vavke is telling you so and so, he's like, I don't know who Yudke Vavke is. What are you talking about? I know Shem Alekim, right? Which and in that world he was dominating. He was creating. He was the baluz, right? He made stuff happen. When Avram Avinu came, and in that world that Nimrod lived in and the whole world lived in, if you throw somebody into fire, he burns because fire is just a higher oil than Basar V'dam, right? Mitamol, when they throw in Avram over here, what happened to Avram? Avram was so bottled to ground zero, to his beginning, and it says, Anochi offer ve'efer, right? Ich ben gunish, ich ben offer, which is air, then efer is dust, okay? He was so bottled to his creator, that's called a merkava, that fire couldn't burn him.
Because offer can't burn. I mean,
exactly. So let me just explain it a little more so you understand, okay? He was so not. Didn't take up any space, right? Let's just understand what that means even more so. The Eivishter tells him, go and I'm going to give you I'm going to give you the land of Etzisrael, okay? And Nochum tells him, Yitzchak is going to be called after your name. In Yitzchak is going to be called your name. In other words, he's going to carry on your seed, your dynasty, okay, which we come from. An hour later, let's just say, Eivishter tells him, go and sacrifice Yitzchak. Okay, so what does it mean that he wasn't Maharer Acharov? Okay, what does it mean wasn't Maharer? What it means is as follows. If I'm going through a rough time, let's just say your personal life, you're going through a rough time, and you're like this, I don't even know if I want to live anymore, okay? And all of a sudden comes a moment of clarity, and you're like, I see clearly now. I see clearly. Now I got it. I figured it out. I see it, okay? 2 days later, a situation comes up, and once again, it doesn't look like it's going the right direction. Now you have a choice, okay? I can be like, I already know the way the system works and he's got me. Or I can get into but what if I messed up this time? What if it was me, right? Eivishter was right, but I made the wrong move and I gotta pay for it, okay? The what if where does this what if come from? That I'm still thinking that I had a say in the matter, that I made the wrong move. You did not make a wrong move. Your consciousness stepped in there so you can learn and become more aware of it. There's no such thing as a wrong move. Everything is in the direction of going forward.
It was supposed to happen that way.
Exactly. So if he has a hard day and things don't, after he had a clear moment, and now he's not. He's starting to question.
What did I do wrong?
Maybe I did wrong.
Yeah.
Okay, that means hitter. That's already like hitter. Avraham Avinu, when the Eivishter told him Yitzchak Kol Chazara, and then he's like, go and shecht Yitzchak, there wasn't even a split second of like, how does, maybe, okay, fine. There wasn't, it was like, okay. It wasn't even a blink, it wasn't a flash. Because if there was a flash, it was like a chalav that has a pugam on it. Because Avraham Avinu was building a string. He was started building a binyan, a system. Avraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov, perfection. Right? When Yosef was disappeared on Yaakov, he for 20 years, Yaakov was in a Tardim. He was out. Right? There was nothing there. He was like, I messed it up.
Okay, so he was a big tzaddik, and so therefore...
Hold on one second. Let me just go on my train. I'm sorry. I don't want to get lost. So the vart is like this. So now comes Yitzchak. So fine. So there was no hitter. There was nothing. Even Dakazik. So now when you have Avram goes into the Torchiv Shanezha, throw him into the fire, he was so bottled, he was so sure of himself that if I burn, my whole life is not as real as I think the way it is. It's all Afer Ve'efer. If I'm in the Esh, I'm to the point where it couldn't burn him. The fire couldn't touch him because he wasn't any. It's like when you stand in front of an animal, a lion, you face to face. If you have the slightest, if you show any aggression, he's going to attack. If you show any fear, he's going to attack again. You just
don't move. Don't.
Perfect. It's just no, and it's real because they smell it. One nerve jumps, he's on you, right? So this is what we're dealing with. This is what a markava is. That with like the hand is not moving without knowing exactly what the purpose. This is what it's tzaddik. And you watch Areva, every move is markava. It's not taking a glass, drinking. Everything is exactly calculated. Everything is with the perfect balance where he needs to be. Right? The Rebbe comes in, everything is tick, 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 tick. Exactly. This is called the markava. The slightest thing, this is pshat kechit asara. Not that, right? They're saying that the Eibishter is makbud b'tzadikim kechit asara, like like a shred, like a hair. A hairline is makbud. What do you mean? Because I'm a tzaddik, I got to get double patch. It's because they are so aligned that they're so real time that if he moves a second out, there's going to be a reaction there. Right? If I move 1 second, if I take in a food in my mouth and I want to indulge, there's going to be. That's why one of the Maram, he davened, and he realized after his ritzia of the sharash was upside down. I'm sorry, was inside out. So the black was inside, and he fasted 40 days. Why? But it was real time. He davened with this. So this is gefuhren epis zatik, right? So you needed 40 days to align it again. It wasn't a punishment.
The higher you are, the smaller touch.
When you were on Mach 5, when you were flying in Mach 5, the slightest thing you flip over. Right? You see these boats that are made out of. Anyways, they have these fast boats that are going on the water. They're racing boats, right?
Yeah.
This last time they just go
flip over,
right? And they blow up. They just turn into dust, right? It's because this is what we're dealing with. So it's not a punishment. It's real time.
So back to the Mabul, at the time of the Mabul.
Yes.
So was the same amount of darkness than these days?
It was even more. It was more. It was more direct. It was more. They saw what they were doing. And they did it because they wanted to take over. They wanted to take over Vel.
So they were connected to a certain power.
Yes, sure. They were. It was toy. It was toy. It was kind of like still toy. They were so powerful. They were so mighty that he couldn't control himself. Right. So he came in, and what happened was that he was so powerful that he saw himself as a means to an end. He was like, I'm the Zav. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. So this is what we're dealing with. We're dealing with giants, people that live 900 years, right? What type of life force is that to live 900 years? Okay, so we're dealing with with giants in a saga, giants in everything. So when they did like the Mabul came because Zerlovet Chumas, Zerlovet is Geneva. When they did a Geneva or Zerlovet, it was Zerlovet. It was oil. Wasted and brought down klippos and brought down all types of choshech, all right. And just so we understand that the opening in Pesach on the Rizal, it's nishkan pirish the Rizal, that we are that. Okay, so we are. You ready? When Adam Rishon, after the Eitz Hadas, he split from Chava for 130 years. And this 130 years because he wasn't with a woman, he was Motzei Zel V'Tola. Some say he was, some say when he went to sleep, like B'Shoigig. From this, there was born bodies without Ruach, without bodies, because it wasn't with a woman. So from there we go from that's us. From there into Mitzrayim, Darafloga. I'm sorry, the Mabul, Darafloga, Mitzrayim, Egel, Midbar, Egel, and here we are. Right? The bottom of that consciousness. Why he had to pick us from that, there's another reason for that. But so we're Ein Sof. We're able to process that. We're not limited. We're coming from something that is just open-ended. So we can actually be what we need to be. But the bottom line is that yes, there was choshech. We are choshech, but in order, the purpose of the choshech is not for us to indulge in the choshech, to get busy ourselves. It's just here so I can see him in a physical way. All right, we're in a can of beans. We're in a can, beans in a can, and then we're busying ourselves with the rust of the can and the metal of the can and the can plastic outside.
But in a certain sense, like when there's a much stronger contrast, is it like true that we can see in a certain sense God in a much more powerful way than tzaddikim, no?
Yes. He
said that.
Right. Yeah. No, I think like the darkness and the contrast and the light is like probably.
We can see more once you see which we're going to do in a minute. That's exactly what it is. This is seeing oil from such a choshech.
Yeah, from the table.
Like the wow and the awe that we can have.
It's like the Elohi that sits in shul all day. We call it in my language. It's black and white. He sees Eibishter black and white.
He doesn't see the choshech.
He sees black and white. In other words, he has a mitzvah. He goes through his struggles. Panusa, but he sees it like there's no. It's very clear, but for us, it's full color. You walk on the street, almost had an accident. No. This guy took me, this guy that, and this guy, and then once you train your eye to see that everything is Eibishter, and all of a sudden you see Eibishter in a physical Welt that doesn't exist to the person that's in black and white, because he doesn't see Eibishter in a busted pipe in my building that drain me and all this, because he doesn't deal with that, right?
But you also have to know how to see. I mean,
what's that?
Crazy. The last half hour, I've been seeing God in a certain sense. Like, I'm strong. Like, I always keep on having it. Like, and he keeps on saying to himself, and I listen. And I've been it's crazy. And the reason why I've been asking, I was more interacting with you today, was because I had specifically questions. Because I have this big place where I've demolished. I told you, right? And I'm going through a lot of hardship there. And anyway,
it's not easy getting out of Mitzrayim.
No, it isn't. But when you told us there's a hole in the pipe that happened a few days ago, and it was because I demolished that place, and I didn't have there's a small hole in that pipe, and it was raining some here and there, but now the snow came and it was from the drain already from the roof. The whole building is flooded, and there's no insurance. I need to pay for it. And it's like kind of draining me. It's like I've invested so much. Like literally, it's not. I won't say it taking, but my bank account is like literally all for things that I don't need. And this is why I was interacting with you the whole time. And you say like, a pipe. I was like,
oh, Moshe said pipe.
He said when a pipe starts flooding, it's
so you just had it.
I was like, okay, fine.
So you're being talked to, yeah.
So understand that water is Alma Discasia. Water is the hidden world, right? It's the world that we don't see, and we are in Alma Disgali. We're in the revealed world, and by Kriyas Yamsuf, what happened is that the Alma Discasia was revealed. That's why there was Kriyas Yamsuf. Okay, Kriyas Yamsuf happened that as the water was split, they split the ocean, they split the sea. Something happened to us innately. Something happened to us that changed us forever. We are today the way we are because of that. Okay, so that's number one. So first of all, whenever there is water, as the Baal Shem Tov says, whenever there's water, there's a simon bracha. So as you see water, pshat is that there's a simon bracha. Now, in the Yam Suf it says Yam Suf, which is Yam is Chachma, and Suf is the end. So Chachma went in all the way to the end, and then revealed itself, that's why there was Kriyas Yam Suf. So you understand, when you see water in your business, in your place of business, or in your life, anywhere, first of all, it's a simon bracha, and number two, it's Alma Diskasya. You look at it as pain and heartache, but really, there is Alma Diskasya. Once you're going to recognize where the Eibishter is in that thing, you won't. Then it doesn't have to happen anymore, and then you start experiencing like close to a miracle. You may think it's a miracle, but the Rebbe goes into a whole maimer, which we're going to do, Pasach Eliyahu, a very, 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 very intense maimer, and I think personally, you have that maimer, that's all you need, with the proper base. Like after telling him 40 times after learning for 20 years, tough to know the maimer to have you. But in this Maimed, the Rebbe is saying that Teva and Nes is the same thing, right? Teva and a miracle, a Moifes is the same thing as Teva, all right? So it's like, what do you mean? What do you mean it's the same? It's not. He's like, it is. It's the same thing. Teva is even a bigger miracle than a miracle. Because a miracle kimt I'm Mulayud and so kimt, I'm in a life. But Teva is a Nes, every second is a Nes. The fact that we're...
that you used to.
Yeah, but once you open yourself up, so the water... So how are you going to see Teva, Teva is bigger than Nes? How you see such a thing? He's going to drill you. He's going to give more Alma Diskasya than you can handle. You're going to be like, until you're going to open your eyes. But guess what? You signed up to the program. Right?
You want to see him.
So again, you signed up, you said, I want the light, and then you got a glimpse of light, and you're like, I want it. Yeah. Okay? So again, they ask you like this, how real are you ready to get?
That's what I was thinking actually, because...
you want to pull out now?
No, because when he told me about the idea of the contractor, right, that Hamas is not a contractor, in a certain sense, these stories are very powerful, because you see the chab. When I see I've already lost so much money in the loss, I won't count loss. I've put in a lot of money in that place, and now like, oh my goodness, like 5 stories and everything is wow. I don't know how from where, but the last year what I started doing is I've been holding myself back of calling contractors to fix things up, because I don't know how I'm gonna have the money and everything. And then I decided, I'm frictioning the flow now. The flow is, and my flow is now to call the contractor and fix stuff. So I started giving out checks. I started doing stuff, and I was like literally seeing. When I saw that hole, when we keep on talking about seeing, I was literally talking to him. I was like, okay, and I was way here. I kept telling him like, it's so fine, because I know that my panusa is written. It's not I can't lose and I can't take, but it's so hard to implement in this body.
So let's go back to the Nakud, and I'm gonna go off topic because it's negayat to the topic. 2 things. First of all, is how real are you ready to get? In other words, like this: if somebody is to ask you a question, if I was to ask you right now, are you willing to get embarrassed and lose everything for the truth? Right? So that's the question. Like, most people are not. That's why they are still huffing and puffing.
Okay.
But if you are willing to get to the bottom of the truth, then this is what you may have to go through to get to the bottom of the truth.
Truth you mean?
To see light, to be connected.
Right, but sometimes we won't see the light.
1 second.
Okay.
Now, in order to see that, you have to understand something. What happens? Who said that you're responsible to pay?
Because I've neglected that.
Good. And now that you neglected it, what happens if you don't pay? Let's just say you don't have money, right? You don't have the money. Let's just say you don't have the money.
Okay.
What happens now? And you're like, I can't pay for it. What's gonna happen? And to realize what's gonna happen, you're responsible. Whoever is gonna come to you. 1 second. You don't have, right? If you take a loan, I lend you $50,000 with all the right intentions. We're good friends here. $50,000 comes with you're like Moshe Chanish. Umgesetzt. No, what do I do?
It's like an island.
You don't have, right? Let's just say you don't have. So what? So what happens now? You don't have the money. What happens? So let me play it out for you for a second. So what happens is that, like, this is genau what I mean. Moshe Weisz, ich gebe mal ein Wort. I said I'm going to pay, and I have to do whatever I have to do to pay. So this is where Yeshus comes in. This is where ego comes in. This is another,
and it comes in place of
Anshulke, exactly. Okay, exactly. This is like the last, because we are so tangled and we're so far away from truth that he shows up even in the truth, because even our truth is fake. Das gesucht, das gegeben. Now that you don't. Oh, but what's that? But kicken his medrash. Okay, so you're not ready to surrender. No problem. He'll write you a check, and then you're gonna go live water down leben with a plastic bag of a cup. Or you can say like, listen, I tried my best. I'm sorry. Chonish, eineni. Ganav. Oh, okay. So if you've been through enough, you realize that every single person out there, they're successful at some form of gegangen in does this. But mizum vergeten, favus. Well, that's a shine read. Es schon jetzt schon lacher am So do dem kleinen kacker mit dem ich bin der was gedacht mir sorgen. So it's nicht it's really your ego.
Right.
Because when you walk in shul that a guy that just robbed somebody with $1 million, do you not talk to him? If somebody's like there, it's ugeris in mit $10 million. It's a meiser bechol yom, yeah. Does anybody not talk to him? Not forget him because we can't verdienen from him. And I feel him a woordig. There is aganet. But I got it. I know how to deal with these guys. I cannot gonna put with him, yeah. So it's alles forgiven. And I don't change my opinion. I'll still talk to him. The guy's a child molester, right? And everybody's talking to him because it's a pasnish, nicht zu reden. So it's not so gesorgt for jenem, and it's jenem gamenen, but it's a dir, so it's a dan ego. It's yourself. So that's another form of myself holding me from surrendering to my creator. So it's not you're not really worried about paying back, because what are they going to say? They're going to say that this is not a man of honor. This is a mensch. You're not a mensch of the word, yeah? That's what you're afraid of. But the person that is not a mensch of his word, you talk to him. You have no problem talking to him. So mit dem moment kim tzediri, so it's your own personal yeshes. Yes. Okay, so that's next level of
so I think it's.
If you cupped it right, it's okay.
I'm kind of like I need to just center myself. What's my real flow? Maybe.
Good, fine. No, just process it. I'm just saying, yeah, for sure. But listen, it's a real. Yeah, I wouldn't call it down.
No.
What does a die know? What does he know?
Huh?
What does a die know?
I don't know. He's gonna tend to tell me what I need to do in a certain sense.
Again,
no.
I don't want to get into the detail of that, but I'm saying it's. I'm not saying not to call it down. It's not. You have to be very careful who you ask. Somebody that really understands how the system works. You want to frig halacha? You want to ask somebody real time data? Then you got to talk to somebody that's a person that's familiar in how the system works, in proper bittul and amun, and not something that mefafir tong machman an appeal, like somebody that's real with the system, and talk to him and see what he says. Because what I'm telling you right now, I checked with the proper posek. All right, so I'm not giving you my own stories.
Moshe said something I still, I know you said this before, I can't trade. So, we say like, if you did something, and you did something which obviously was wrong. I mean, like it was not coming from the right place. And then there's a consequence from that. Yeah, so Abraham was a big tzaddik, so of course, like, he really didn't do anything wrong, so he doesn't have to have that kind of machshava. But us, how do we say that was supposed to happen, and not take the not realize I did that, so the consequence was that? You don't understand what I mean?
I understand. Sure.
Yeah. What?
Yeah. No. Let's just stay right there. No. So the same answer that we just said. When I do something, and there is consequence to that that's going to cause me pain.
Right.
God forbid. Right. If I am surrendered to it, to my ego, or I surrender, if I have proper bittul, then my pain is well deserved. It's coming to me to put me back in check. It's coming to me to spin me back, because really what I don't want any shortcuts. I just stepped over a red line.
Right.
And how do I get back? My pain that's coming to me is aligning me to wake me up. How do I know b'chlal that I stepped over the line? Because I'm worried. I'm like, I'm not sure. I must have, it brings up even bringing up the awareness that I did something wrong. That is already my tshuva program. I wouldn't even think about it if there was no consequences. How many times a day do we step over red lines? We're like, I don't know, I don't care, I don't know, I don't need to think.
Okay, sometimes it's just not clear. Did he do something wrong? He didn't do something wrong.
Okay, so you have to give me. So I can't give you a clear answer. Tell me a real time thing, so I can try to find it. If it's a lofty thing, I can give you a lofty be'erich answer, right? It's right. I mean, no, it's
It's not like I.
it's very it's very clear. Avram Avinu, look, he must have thought that he did something wrong, right? He could have very easily, like the Eivshter told him yes, and then he tells him, "Go, give me your son." A normal person.
I thought he maybe sinned when he came to Esau. So I mean,
Exactly.
If it's tzaddikim and they're Jewish, I mean, they must have like said,
Yeah,
maybe
no,
I
for sure.
didn't do it the right way.
For sure,
right?
yeah, but it's you're throwing me a very hard one, like because Yaakov did. I don't think he had any type of. It says that he had what's the lashon that he had fear. At Morigat, he had pachad that he's going to Esau. Maybe he's content to kol chasadim, but he wasn't afraid of what's coming. He was afraid of maybe my personal negiyas did it. Right? So he separated the two. He didn't question the outcome. He's like, I'm walking here. I'm going to meet Esau. But maybe I messed up. Maybe I did. So he davened for that. He's like, okay.
So what fear were they talking about? They said he was in fear.
When we had
fear of the Eivshter.
fear that he did something. Fear that maybe he didn't. Or fear that maybe he has to have the fear right now to bring down more present and more awareness of what's going on.
Or fear that he did something that was hateful.
Or fear that he even got news like that's not flowing properly. It was already like there's a block over here. Why is there a block?
He can't figure it out.
What's going on? So the answer came like, whoa, it's not you. You finished your avodah. It's Esau that didn't even start. So you're gonna go clear. Now you're so clear at yourself that you're gonna pick up his mess too, which he could be like, hello, I finished mine. I'm checking out for 2,000 years. I'll go into my oil. I'll sit and learn and wake me up when it's time. But instead, he's like, this is what he wants. No, this is what he wants. We're going back to grinding for the next 3,000 years. We're going to go through a process called Mitzrayim, Beis Hamikdash, and all that good stuff. And like, okay, he did it with the biggest smile on his face. Has to be because he was a Merkava. Like it wasn't any other way. But when we have fear, we are second guessing our ability. We're second guessing did I do it right? Did I do it wrong? Maybe I should have done more. Maybe I should. So
that would seem so normal for normal people like us. We're not tzaddikim. Like that seems like such a normal. When I say like a normal thing to think.
Okay. Again, I'm not
you
saying.
Know what I'm asking.
We're not saying that this is the level that we're at.
Right.
We're saying what the Maimer is saying.
Right.
We're saying we're saying what Chassidus is teaching us, but clearly it's a battle. It's not we have our struggles every day, and sometimes sometimes every few hours there's another battle coming up, right? Okay, so let's go inside. We're going to start from. Let's see where we're going to go over here. So we went over to page 5 already, but we're going to go back to 4 for a minute just to go over real fast. Okay, let's go here. Not the Yemina Varishmayim, but not the Shmei Bara Oretz. V'dir the Yad Yemin Moira. It's the last. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 lines from the bottom, and the last word is Moira. Everybody has it? Yeah. The Yad Yemin Moira ala Oir, Vagilu Yoseh. My right hand reveals my Oir. V'zeh Yemina Tipcha Shemayim. With the right hand, he put in place at Befestig the heavens, the Shemayim. The Shemayim HaKavana Olam HaSayonim. Shemayim is the Kavana, the higher, the Hechere Welten. Shama Gilu B'chinas Yemin. Over there is a Gilui from the Rechte Zad, the Rechte hand, Shi Gilu Oir. The Oir line is revealed. In other words, even the keli that the Oir is in is not hidden. It's not like that the Oir comes packaged that I need to unpack it. It is what it is. I see it and can imagine living in a world like that. Like how great it is to be like revealed. There's nothing blocking me. It's like being in the water without any clothing. I'm one with the water, like a fish in the water. Alma Diskasya. But at the same time, imagine living a life that you're one with the water, you don't know where you are. You're just nichlo, you're one with the fire, you're in the fire, rather than being here all clothed and dressed, and I get to understand that right here behind me there's something I can grab that's called my creator, the Zachaline, right? The Aretz HaKavana Olam Tachtonim. Aretz means the Kavana is the lower realms. Hem B'chinas Smoil. It means from the left side. She'eino har begilui kol kach. Right? So we understand now that Yamin, the right side is revealed light. The left side already comes packaged in something. That's why it's called left. It's coming from the other side. It comes in a keli. The bottle of water is not packaged in a bottle. I have to go through the bottle. Right? This is the smilas of Ghana. The bottle was created to hold the water over here. This is what we're dealing with. Right? My right hand is the water. Left hand is the bottle. Okay? Even in this, when the water comes bottled, the oil comes in this keli, the keli is also hidden. It comes, it's covered with black. You don't see its package. We don't see what's going on over there. Complete confusion. Right? What do we see from that? That the whole avodah is that type of thing. It's the unknown. This is where we're walking. This is the goal. The whole avodah is, I don't know if I'm going right, if I'm going left. Did I do it? Did I not do it? Is it me? Is it him? Right? The avodah is in the questioning, in second guessing myself, in the confusion. This is where we're hanging out a noiga. Right? Where we're completely confused. The chsiv kol hanikra b'shmi l'chvoidi b'rasi v'tzarti v'afasi siv shem dalad olam v'sabiyah b'zeh oir eni k'mo shehu b'atzilas. The oir over here is not like the way it's in Atzilas. K'mo shehu b'biyah b'riya yitzira asiya. The Atzilas who b'chinas gilu yahelim v'atzilas m'loshen etzla v'samach. Atzilas, it means that it's one with Creator. We're not going to elaborate on that because it's not much to elaborate. It's just that the Chassidus gets in. What does it mean? Atzel. What does it mean? One. It's an yonam that we learn and then you sit in it and eventually it becomes part of your vocabulary, of your brain, of how you process. Atzilus is also Atzel and Mufresh. It's separate from the rest of the other worlds. This is its own entity. The Atzilus, even though that it's called Welt, right? It's called Welt. Atzilus is already a Welt, but in Klal it's Atzmas. It's Ein Sof. It's Oyer. Okay. Masha Enkin Beriya. Beriya already was starting Yesh Mi'ayin. All right, there's something that is there. I'm in, I'm out. I know where I am. I don't know where I am. I'm in the bottle. I'm in the oil. I'm in the kela. I'm in the oil. And this is what it means over there. It's still, my covet and my name is still one, right? Because usually we know that a name and a person is two separate things. If I lived in the desert, I don't need my name. Nobody's calling me. My name only becomes relevant when I meet people, right? If I don't have a name, if I don't meet anybody, if I'm not talking to anybody, I don't need a name. For myself, I don't need to be Moshe, but if I'm walking around, they call me. This is when my name kicks in. Shekor al olam atzilus, she'olam eichad v'skaldas. In atzilus it's olam eichad v'skaldas. She'or sham batachlas agilu. The oir darten is eins. The ein dome klal lekmoishe ba'olam is biyah. In atzilus the oir is not the way it's in biyah. Bria asiya, yitzir asiya. Ubibiyah atzman yesh cheluke medreges ba'gili oiris k'mashkasa ba'olam abriya va'olam atzira v'asiya. And in Biyah Align, there's every world, every consciousness has a different way of revealing itself, right? There's no other world that says is like over here, which is just a physical Lego world. All these separations are only the way it shows up in Veld, as we explained before that there's Mamala and there is Soiviv. Mamala Kal Aman, we are in Mamala Kal Aman, and then there is Soiviv Kal Aman. Mamala Kal Aman is the glove, and every world there's a different glove. And the oil that goes into the glove. In other words, there is a red glove, a blue glove, and a white glove, and I can put it in my hands. Now I have a blue hand, and now I'll show up with a red hand, and I'll show up with a white hand. So in oil is all the same, but the way it shows up, the glove that it manifests through, the picture, the cover that I'm putting on the lamp, the light that shines through is based on the cover that I have on the lamp, right? We have the color that covers the light. So this is what changes. It's all equal. It's okay, it goes back to what he said over here before. On the other page, it says right? It brings down from the Zohar. that as I'm holding back, I have iskafia, I'm holding myself back from saying something, anything repulsive or impulsive that I want to just jump on, and I'm stopping that. What that triggers is that it brings it brings down oir and all. I'm pulling oir down into this world by doing that. He's going to explain how that happens. The oil comes in all the worlds the same way. How am I pulling? How do I suck? How do I gravitate more oil into the world? This is through the work that's called avodah sabirurim, the avodah from being mavader, boider. I'm picking, I'm choosing, I'm thinking. How does this boider work? What's my fork and my knife to do this? Iskafia v'eshapcha dafke. Iskafia and ishapcha is the key to unravel, to opening up, to bringing more oil into the Welt. The Welt here means me. My Welt, my existence, right? If I have iskafia, I am bringing more consciousness into me. Like he asked before, is there more choshech or more oil? What's happening here? There's more choshech because I'm a bigger keli. But how do I enter? How do I open the funnel, the valve, to bring more oil? How do I get the pipe to start dripping oil? To bringing more, to bring when I do iskafia, that's how I bring more oil. Okay.
How do you know when to do iskafia, when to say stop, and
anything that's repulsive, anything
that comes from an impulse, you can do iskafia.
My wife calls me an idiot.
You can choose to react.
I can choose to react, or I can be like, okay. And not only that, my blood is boiling. Like I want to shoot.
After stopping, you could react, but you still brought down that light. I mean, because you stopped.
Once you stop,
anytime you do it, it's still causing a
certain thing. I know.
Once you stop,
happiness above any kind of control.
Once you stop, your response a minute after is already going to be a different response than the minute before.
That's true.
And 10 minutes after, and the day after, it's a completely different story. And as you train yourself mitamol, you're able to communicate, and you bring you pull the teeth out from klipa, from choshech. Because eventually, my wife can't talk to me like this because there's no room for that. Because I'm like, come on, what are you doing, right? Okay. And remember, it's real time. When somebody calls me a name, when somebody gets on my nerves, he's not thinking about it. He's acting out of repulsiveness. That's a choshech coming right at me. It's a real time choshech coming right at me. And I can choose to react to that because innately it's like boom, boom, right? You hit me, I hit you back. But here I'm stopping, right? And let's just, while we're at it, sometimes we get hit and we don't hit back because I'm just weaker. The guy's just way bigger than me. Now wait a second. Now, if you put this in, let's just say I'm in shul and somebody insults me, throws in, it talks to me and it puts me down. I can technically speak back, but I can't. He's just too strong. It's too intimidating to me. So you can say I didn't respond. My iskafia wasn't a real iskafia. I was really scared of him. So here's another avodah. If you bring awareness that the reason I'm not responding to him is because not because I'm weak. It's not my thing. I don't fight like this. I don't talk like this. If you want, I have different ways. I'll play you a card game, or I'll play kugelach, whatever the word. I'll change. This is not my thing. It's not because I'm weak. Because Klippa wants to break me down, put me into a moment of atzvus. When I go into atzvus, when I get sad and I beat myself up, I'm again stopping flow, right? I don't have to respond to this person, and I'm still tapped into choshech by walking away with the tail between my legs by kak. I'm still tapping into choshech. I'm still not bringing in light. So my avodah now is when he's bigger than me to choose. I'm not responding because I am taka. It's not my thing. I don't do it like that. Like, you're just an idiot, right? You're just talking. You're just a baby. You're gonna hit me. What are you? 2? You're a 40-year-old man. What's wrong with you, right? Okay. As he's poil in his work to be eskafa, hold back his choshech and then flip it over into light. A lot of light can only come from choshech dafka, right? Because if I am blowing into the thin air, I'm gonna pass out. But if I put my finger in a bag, there's choshech, there's resistance, there's a lot more power in that. I'm doing something. So when I have choshech, my choshech comes at me. And from that place, my pipe is leaking and everything is going on my head. And from there, I'm like, hold on a second, wait a minute, what's happening over there? Is this me? Is this him? Who's in charge? This is now you have oil. Now you have real oil, right? When I'm burning a whole mattress, or if I burn a bag, there's more. White has more fabric in it, right? Okay. Hina yisnoir mechoshich dafke v'haina the kasher lechoshich mehafach lo'ir hina nasa yisr noir. It becomes more oir. Sha'oir meir begili ada sheyor lamata mamish. This is so powerful, guys. I mean, like you have to just listen to what he's saying here. Sha'oir meir begili ada sheyor lamata mamish. In other words, the lower I am, the more entrenched I am in my physical Welt, and I see a Siyata Deshmai in that place, I just landed into that apartment that's verstippt somewhere in Williamsburg in a beautiful penthouse or whatever the case is, and there's a leaking pipe, and I see now a message over here. You just lit that place up with your job here is done. Okay, finish. It's over. Or you can go through the proper bidder. I'm going to fix it, and I'm going to this. You can go through that too. You can do that too. Check yourself. There's an avoid. Like, am I being lazy? Am I being irresponsible? Or am I being or what's my schadis over here? Right? What's Torah telling us? What proper das Torah? Nishkan, okay. Then you tap into something that is to the light. Now you're chapping an atzilus moment. You want to know what's going on up there? This is when you chap a pure light, because the makev is even everywhere. It's only the way it's acted out over here when it comes into this cup, that now my tea is in this cup. But it's the same tea that I put here, I put there, and put there. It's the same oil. So now when I have this oil down over here, it's just coming through my glove. But once I see through this thing and I look at the oil, not at the cup, now I have oil in cup. Right? I'm bringing it into right here in my Welt, in my bedroom, in my home, in my business, anywhere I go, I'm schlepping down this oil anywhere I go, and this is the most powerful oil, the purest oil that we can tap into. Okay, this is the chiddush over here. Okay. That's what the Zohar means when it says, but as you are holding back, you're overcoming your sitra acha. Iskafia, very good. Istalik ikari. Istalik is a lashon of pulling down. I'm moishach down over here. The kitchabrich b'kelam, and I'm pulling down oil. If you want to know how I'm sucking out oil from Atzilus, by iskafia. Anything on every level, anything you move. I mean, today's Tanya is that. It says that a binary eats only this hour, and they go through the process of when a person eats. So the Alter Rebbe is saying, okay, like you asked before, exactly what you said before. So if I do it a minute later, I already pulled the light down. The answer is yes. It's today's Tanya. Because
if you do it meaning to say you did
I
a skafia.
I did a skafia, and then I respond.
And then you fell through.
Yes, you still
with anything.
You still have the light.
Still have the light.
You still have the light. It's going to get a little more tricky now, because now you're putting fire. Now you lit up your choshech, right? You pull down that oil, and now you have more to struggle with. Before it was a dry choshech, but anyways, but right now you have a double portion on your hand. But what the Rebbe is saying is that right. But what he's saying in Tani today is that if I want to eat 8:00 and I'm pushing off to eat 8:15, he's talking about the word of tzaddikim, and it's not for us. And I eat 8:15. I just did a skafia, and I just pulled down. Even though I'm going to eat the same meal 8:15, okay. And he says even more. Even though they were learning all day, all they were doing is they stopped to eat, and he's going back to learn. He's going back to learn. It's not like I'm stopping to eat and I'm going to go learn. They're learning anyways. He just stopped to eat, but he's eating 15 minutes later. He already pulled. That's a skafia. But he's talking about the level of tzaddik level, right? I mean, kol hakavod, do it, but specifically not to do that.
That's talking for all of us, so we can do something on our own level. Like
whatever is kafia means for us, for everybody.
No, the Alter Rebbe is talking about.
Just waited till you ate.
He's talking about at that time when he's bringing down from the Gemara, and in Gemara that they didn't eat. He waited a few minutes. He's like, the tzaddikim. What difference does it make? You were learning anyways. What difference does it make if you eat 5 minutes later? So he's saying even that
things we're learning all day.
Yes, even that is considered a skafia and bringing down light. All right. Yeah, okay. V'zeh skafia sitrach stalik the kurde kesheberich the kilamon. Beginnen ze oir shenimshech. Yeah, okay, here we go. Look into this thing once and for all. I wanted you guys to see it. Look at his talik shenimshech here at the bottom. The first thing. Nikram shach shenimshech nikram shacha zu bezoy loshen istalik. Shu beginnes gila ereself kan allemaal beginnen srememes. Right? He's once like the stalik is a loshen because usually we think a stalik is a stalkus.
Yeah.
But here is saying that the zoyer uses stalik to bring down oil. Right? Amshacha. Ve'im kain. Okay, let's go. Shenimshech ereself kol al mush oifram shechase beginnen sobe v'makav b'chala oilemus b'shava. I'm pulling down an oil that's untainted. It's equal in all the worlds because I'm pulling it from what's out of the glove. When it goes into the glove, I'm just now penetrating the glove. I'm making a hole in the glove, and I'm pulling out oil through the glove. The imken meir gam lamata k'moshe ulamala. It's the same thing. V'zev asel in migdash v'shechanti b'soicham. You ready? B'soich kol echad ve'echad. How? This is what it means that I'm going to make a migdash and I'm going to rest. I'm going to dwell. Indeed. B'soich kol echad ve'echad. How? Al yedei ha'avoda, through the work, the beginners eskafi v'eschapche. Eskafi en eschapche kashoich no heure choshech tzi light. Hine nasa ayideza yisra na'ar. Why? The stale gekora de kutchebriche, because I'm being moishech kutchebriche bekila alma shemerim esgal arasev. Right now I'm revealing arasev in alle welten. In here eating, in here in the tea, in my day to day, I'm bringing down the most purest oil. And you're untouchable from that place. If you have this, you're untouchable. Who's Van V? Listen, it's tempting for me to go to lie or to steal or to make more. Really, what am I playing with over here? We know everything is just Legos. It's a box. And I have an opportunity now to bring down the purest oil. What's better than that? Right? Kitzer, Iker Shchina B'tachtonim. In this sif, he does a Kitzer, Iker Shchina B'tachtonim. The Iker Shchina was here in this Welt. Yevar, the Kavonas Brisa Oilemus, he was Mevar, that the Kavona of Bashafing the Welt, Sheyir Dira B'tachtonim, Sazana, dwelling here in Tachtonim. How is that? Vanasa al de Skafke Vishafke. This happens through Skafi and Ishafke. Shemamshech Eure Sevet. Shezeh Bekil Alma B'shuva. I'm bringing in Eure Sevet, but this is Bekil Alma B'shuva.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.